Welcome to the Pathways to Prosperity podcast, where we explore personal, professional, and financial success stories of top achievers. Let's dive in.
Welcome to Pathways of Prosperity for Entrepreneurs. Today we're chatting with Ben Milsom, the Chief Revenue Officer for a company based in Chicago and also the Board President of Tampa Bay JDRF, a nonprofit organization dedicated to type 1 diabetes and advocacy. Join us as we explore how his groundbreaking ideas are transforming the sports industry and making a difference in the community. So, hey, Ben, how are you? How's everything been? Where are you located?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'm down here in Tampa, Florida, which is sunny and nice this part of the year. So yeah, everything's going great today. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, of course, of course. No, thanks for having your time. And, I know you're a busy man, not only helping the company out in Chicago, but also really impacting lives, with your type 1 diabetes research. So, if you don't mind, give us a snapshot about your life and what you're doing right there at the moment.
Yeah, right now I work for a company called Intersport. It's a sports agency that's been around for 39 years, based out of Chicago, founded by Charlie Besser. And right now we are working on two major golf events. One, the Rocket Classic up in Detroit, as well as the World Champions Cup, which will be hosted in Florida. We also do 10 to 12 college basketball events throughout the year. And really what my responsibility is to look for revenue across all those verticals and to help the salespeople go out and do their best jobs to find the best relationships for all of our properties. So that's the job, and then still heavily involved with type 1 diabetes research as part of some volunteer work that I do here in Tampa. And so, yeah, I'm busy, but I love it. Also trying to balance being a husband and father at the same time. So my days are packed, but I love it.
Well, I mean, I can only imagine being able to juggle, so many different things and being able to really be passionate about that. So, what does it look like for a day-to-day life with you? I mean, like I said, it's based in Chicago. You still have stuff over here. What does your day-to-day life look like when you just have a regular week?
Yeah, so I'm based out of Tampa, so I work down here, and we're working on our property, the golf property, the World Champions Cup. So most days, I get up early, I get my workout in, I cold plunge, and then I get going, and I'm mostly spending most of my days building relationships and talking with people in the community about being a part of our event, being a part of all of our different events. I'm always recruiting, always looking for new talent to join our team. And then I manage part of my day where I'm involved in the community, whether it's on the Tampa Bay Sports Commission or helping find funds for JDRF, which is now Breakthrough T1D, and help put an end to diabetes. So yeah, I mean, it's a mix of all those. Some days I'm in meetings all day on Zoom. Some days I'm out in the community on lunches and breakfast meetings, but I like to have my weeks scheduled out. And then there's some weeks where I'm traveling, where it's bouncing around the country, going to different meetings and meeting with our different teams that are located in different areas. So every week is different. No week and no day is the same, which keeps things really exciting.
Yeah, I can only imagine being able to travel and being able to do what, some people would say would be like their dream job, right? I mean, you get to follow these sports people. You're able to really bring not only the money to the table, but you're able to bring yourself, right? No one puts their money or their anything towards a company unless you sell who you are, right? So what does it look like trying to find these different venues or trying to find the money where it needs to be or allocated to? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's a great question. Everything is based off of relationships, right? It's having a really good back and forth dialogue with companies or individuals and finding out what's important to them. And then we try to find what our solutions are and marry the two. And I think that's a big part of it. It's, in sales, I learned really, really young that it wasn't about pitching my product. It was more about asking really effective questions and building that relationship. And so
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do, is just ask questions with companies and find out, maybe they're trying to entertain clients. Maybe they're trying to enhance their brand. maybe they're trying to, break into a new community. And so that's what it is. It's really problem solving. I try to ask a lot of questions, and find out what the problems are, and then bringing a solution to the table through sport, which is, I've done that ever since I got out of college, and I've been absolutely blessed to be able to marry sports with business and relationship building.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to love to see the different sports and be able to different teams and really say, hey, I really brought that to the table. So with being able to be, you're traveling all the time, you also have, I'm guessing, are you diabetic yourself? Is that why?
Yeah, I am. I'm a type 1 diabetic. Yeah, I got diagnosed whenever I was 17 years old.
All right. So I know that probably changed a lot, right? I mean, being able to not really to be able to hit something that you're not you don't know, right? I mean, sometimes when people are type 1 diabetics are a lot younger, they don't understand like what's making them feel a certain way. So it's like that scary transition. So how was that really impacted your life? And now, I mean, like you said, you're now on the JDRF for Tampa Bay. So how does that look like for you too?
Yeah, when I got diagnosed, it was a surprise. I didn't know. I knew of one other diabetic in my life that I played football with, but I didn't really have a lot of people in my life that were experiencing type 1 diabetes. Luckily enough, and so I was working out to go play college football, and I started to get really weak and feel sick, and I knew something was wrong with me, and so. Fast forward, I was in the hospital for a week, just going through all these symptoms that were foreign to me. And at that point, I realized, I said, okay, well, if I can manage this and control it, then I'm going to do all I can to help others that they go through this same journey that I do. And so I plugged as a plug for my book. I published a book in May called The Fearless Diabetic, and it's a very transparent, open, and honest way of communicating my story to the masses. And so I try to get that out there as much as I possibly can, because if a new family gets someone diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, or a loved one or a friend or a coworker, I want them to be able to read my story, and it's honest, it's very blunt, it tells the whole ins and outs of over 20 years of having type 1 diabetes. And so, but that has helped me to realize that, like, I can overcome anything. I mean, I live with this disease every day, and have for a very long time. And so if I can control this, and I can be healthy and have a great life with type 1 diabetes, then that maybe that young kid who just got diagnosed can see the same hope and optimism through my story.
Yeah, I know that there's been a lot of advances in research for it too. There's now the pumps that people have that are even waterproof. They're able to really, check their sugar on a round the clock basis, which you didn't have years back. Maybe like 10, 15 years ago, they didn't have that. So I love the fact that you're really helping those who are in need and understanding and being blunt. I feel like a lot of people don't want to be blunt because they don't want to hurt people's feelings, but sometimes you have to be that way, right? It's their life.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're well versed in it, so that's great. I mean, it's a yeah. I mean, I think that, and that's the way I am in business too. Like, honest, transparent, open. You have to be your authentic self, right? And there was times whenever I was writing the book that I was a little apprehensive to tell some of the stories, because they were very personal, and they were hard to go through, hard to relive, and hard to talk about it in the book. But that was the only way I was going to really truly be able to get the blunt stories out there and help others, is by being over the top, honest, and transparent. So, yeah, but it was a fun journey, and through doing that, there has been just so many great relationships I've made with people that I'm hopefully helping them as they go through the same journey.
No, I really do love that. I love the fact that you're bringing that to the table, and you're making connections to help not only one but a mass of people. So now we're going to try to switch into gears for your business and everything. So being able to be the chief revenue officer of the company in Chicago, how does how do you feel like that you perform or execute things a lot better than others in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I do it better than others in the industry. I just learned from some really amazing people. I had some great mentors along the way, that taught me how to do things the right way, and I just listened, and I just tried to apply my work ethic to what they were telling me. I looked at every boss or mentor as a coach. And whenever I was a kid, it's like, the only way I was going to get better is if I listened to the people that came before me or the coaches. And I wasn't a great athlete, but I just worked really hard and listened to people. And that's what I try to do in my journey in my career is, our company Intersport has a wealth of amazing people that have done some really great deals and have helped a lot of clients out. So I'm learning from them and then trying to apply what I've done in my career and collaborate with them on certain things. But I feel like that's the way you have to go through life, is being open and always learning. I mean, that's the one exciting thing is I feel like I learn something new every day. And I'm blessed in that, because I feel like there's a lot of people in this world that aren't learning or aren't growing or aren't getting uncomfortable. And I do all three of those every day.
Yeah, no, and a lot of people are used to, or not used to, but now complacency is like what they love. But
Yes.
if you're complacent, you're not going to make any money. Not even make money, but you're not going to be the best person that you can be. So so not a lot of people can understand that, and I really want, and that's my vision for everyone, to really for them to go through the hardships and then to understand like there's always a light at the end of the road. The person you
Yeah.
are a year ago isn't going to be who you are now.
Right. And you know what? Nothing great comes from easy, right? I mean, that's the true reality of it is that if it's easy for you and it's given to you, you're not going to appreciate it. But if you have to work really hard and chase that deal or chase that event or chase that career path, it makes it so much better whenever, you get to the end of the tunnel. I mean, in my previous career, I was working for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers overseeing sales and service. And we had a lot of bad years, but we grew a lot of really great careers. And then after a decade, we were blessed that we had a team that came together and ended up winning a Super Bowl. And I never thought that would ever happen because of how long it took to have success. And I mean, listen, I didn't have anything to do with us winning a Super Bowl, but it just made all that work for that decade prior to kind of all pay off, because a lot of, there were some people that left, and there were some people that stuck it out and kept working hard, and they were rewarded at the end of that.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. It's about also about dedication and hard work.
Yes.
So, what have been some big challenges that you've came across with being in the industry, the sports industry? I know that a lot of things have been changing with commissions. I know that sports in general have been really changing the rules. So does that really affect you at all, or does that like how does that how are there any challenges have came a lot quicker than others?
Yeah, I think that some of the biggest challenges are you can't control your product, right? You can't control wins and losses, and you have to sell in wins and losses, right? You have to be hopeful and optimistic and talk to the person on the other end of the phone that whatever you're selling is going to help their business and their bottom line, right? And so that's a big challenge. And I think the other thing is that in whenever you're in a management role and a leadership role, there's a lot of people now that want it fast, right? They want your job, they want your where you are now, right? They don't see the long path that it took. And that's why I always try to, when I talk to people that want to get in the sports industry or looking to get into sales, there's a lot of pain. I mean, and that's the
Yeah.
true reality of it. It's not, when you're making 100 phone calls a day, that's really, really tough. And when you're selling a team that is the last place, that's really, really tough. But that hard work and dedication pays off in the long run for most people. But it just does take time. It takes time and relentless work ethic, and also being in the right place at the right time and building great relationships. So I think those are the hardest things too. Selling wins and losses is really tough, and then just having the patience for your own personal career.
Yeah, no, I'm from Tennessee, so the Titans have only been really good for maybe 2 years when they came out of the Oilers down in Texas. So definitely
Yeah.
understand wins and losses, but it sounds like you're getting a lot of things down packed. It sounds like you're doing really well in helping the business, not only the business but also your side, right? I mean, you're juggling a whole family. You're juggling, like you said, a disease, but hopefully they find something that's a little bit easier. Um, a lot of the people now, like you said, are more complacent. They're not really sure about the future. Um, like what would you say would be easy for people, or a pathway for them to, not only enhance their income, but also really help them create a cushion for passive? Like, have you been looking at other avenues outside of sports? Like, what's your day-to-day life of like trying to find like another better way to really enhance your life in general?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I like to do coaching. I like to
Mhm.
help others. I like to help grow young salespeople. I like to help them find their career path. I mean, that's not that. Those are just things that I do just because I always said it was so hard for me to get into the sports industry. I really want to help others break in, and sometimes I meet with people and they want to live in a certain part of the country and they want to work for a certain team in a certain league. And I
Right.
always tell them, like, listen, go for where the people are in the opportunity, right? Go for people that have grown other careers and have been tested in growing other careers. And so that's what I like to do. I mean, I will rarely turn down a phone call from someone who's a student or is trying to find their way in the sports industry because I was that person at one point. I was trying to break into the sports industry whenever I was coming out of college, and there wasn't a lot of opportunities.
Mhm.
And so I realized that I was going to have to move, and I was going to have to take a job that made me really uncomfortable. And so if I can help save time, energy, and effort and money for some students that are in that same situation, I'm always happy to do it.
Oh, I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that's more than amazing. Really laying out your hand. I mean, some people, like you said, you love to do coaching, but some people even take a step further and like, hey, I'll be your mentor, but only if you do X, Y, and Z beforehand. I love the
Sure.
fact that you're giving out the open arms. You're giving out like the hey, like there's not. I understand that there's a hard way to get into sports, but it's also you have to hear the steps and why the steps are here, right?
Yeah. Right.
So as we're wrapping up the interview, man, do you have anything exciting happening in within like 6 to 12 months in a year?
Yeah, I mean, we for Intersport, we're the World Champions Cup, which is our Champions Tour event, is coming to Florida, and we're excited to start launching that here soon. But it's a new year. There's hope is eternal, right? So
Right.
um, obviously we want to break every revenue record we have, and we want to grow people's careers and make their lives better. So, but yeah, our big event, the World Champions Cup, is my number one focus in making sure that goes off really great.
That sounds really cool. I wish that I'm actually out here in Phoenix, so if I was able to go, I definitely would love to go. I love anything champions. It's always a different vibe. Like over here we have waste management, right? It's not
Yeah.
like it's like everyone calls it like this the
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's what you
Yeah,
want to say.
I get it. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of golfers don't go here for a reason, right?
Right.
But but it was great. I'm very grateful that you took the time out to really be in this interview. If people really want to reach out to you on like even for your diabetes book, like where do they need to go for social media wise?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. So I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Any reach out to me in any way. I monitor that stuff pretty incessantly. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm happy to always connect with people and help in any way I possibly can.
What are your handles for those for the LinkedIn and Instagram?
Yeah, LinkedIn is just Ben Milsom, and then Instagram is my name backwards, Milsom Ben.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, sir. Do you have anything that you'd like to say to the viewers at all before you leave?
No, just keep working hard, keep enjoying life, work hard every day, and everything's going to take care of itself.
That's what I like to hear. Well, thank you very much, sir. I hope
Thank
you have
you.
a beautiful day and keep doing what you're doing and really impact your lives. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Pathways to Prosperity podcast. Got a success story to share? Visit pathwaystoprosperitypodcast.com/guest and apply today.